Like, and I come from a long line of like shamans and tarot readers and Reiki healers and all that kind of stuff.
Proper spirit. Tapped in differently.
So I come from one of that. So I spoke to one of my great aunties and I was like, you know, I was having a breakdown on the phone to her. She's like, what's going on? And I was like, listen, I'm having some kind of spiritual awakening that's very frightening for me, but I feel like there's something. I felt like you know, like when you're wearing a harness and it's like someone's on the other end of the harness just pulling.
Yes, totally.
And I was walking and then the wind would catch in it and just and I'm saying, like, I feel like and the only way I could describe it is like I'm stuck in this hole, and every time I try to get out I get sucked back in. Sometimes some days I'm flying over the hole and I can see it, then I get sucked back in. Other days I can't even climb to the top. Sometimes I get at the top and I'm sitting and I get sucked back in. And you know, she's a very, very powerful and very insightful oracle. So I don't know if you guys know what oracle is. Yeah, I'm an oracle as well. So she was able to see what was going on, and she said he's definitely attached himself to you, but this has a lot to do with your core wounds as well. I want you to come over and let us guide you for a spiritual cleanse. And so yeah, I mean, I've been to Venezuela back and forth a few times anyway because I've got family there, and I went over there and my hair is actually growing out from that because I had to shave it all off.
Okay.
You have to remove all of your body hair.
Wow.
So when you watch Black Panther and you see that they're burying him in the dirt, it's actually like a very real ritual that's taken from Africa. But you know, the Africans were in South America, they were in North America, New Orleans. So these practices still exist. So yeah, we had to wait for a storm. And I had to have all my hair from my body, my head, everything was removed, no eyebrows, no nothing, like everything gone.
Oh wow!
And then we
literally every hair on your body.
And then we went to. I had to spend 9 days setting an intention of what I want, resonating through each number in numerology. So understanding that number 1 marked a new beginning and me having a different thought set. 2, understanding the balance of understanding that this is never something that's going to be gone from my system, but rather let it teach me, and all of these different things. And then on I think it was the 8th day, I didn't get to day 9, maybe the 7th or the 8th day, she's like, the storm's coming, let's go. So we had to go out to the forest, and I was buried in the dirt. I was given something to drink, and I'm telling you, you think you guys know thunderstorms in this country? Go and see a thunderstorm in South America. Go and see a thunderstorm in any hot or tropical. When I tell you I was in there and the ground was, I felt like God took the ground. It was just rocking. Crazy. I was terrified. But I remember drinking it, and I remember coming out and seeing my physical family, because there was like 4 other people there, and then seeing like a whole load of ancestors like on the spiritual plane, and they were greeting me, and they just gave me so much insight into my inner core wounds, what made me choose him, what made me stay for so long, what I was ignoring, what I was meant to learn, understanding the karmic attachments, understanding twin flame attachments, and
I've heard of the
what it means, and how to understand and how to learn from it. And then the next minute I was in my home planet as a spiritual being, talking to my spiritual parents where I originally come from before I got to Earth. It was like the craziest experience. And then I came round, and it felt like it took half an hour. I was out for 2 days. But they say the spiritual realm, the vibration is so much faster, isn't it? So you process things a lot quicker, which is why we can't see it here, because the vibration here is so much slower. Of course. So yeah, what felt like 30 minutes, I was out for 2 days.
2 days. Wow. You know when, like in that place where you said you got buried?
Yeah. Like they just sat there watching me, and then they was just feeding me water and stuff. And then I came around, and I was like, I cried a lot. I journaled a lot. I burned everything that I wrote, but I came back with such a different view of myself, of the world, of other people. And one thing that I do remember that will sit with me forever is like, I remember thinking, finally the pain has stopped. Finally it stopped, because I went through such tremendous pain from such a young child, and my relationships were very reflective of the relationships that I had at home, because it was all I knew and understood. And I just remember coming around and thinking, it's gone. Or it was leaving, like it was coming out of my body. And my aunt said to me, you know, she said to me, she speaks the language, she said, you've done really, really well, I'm so proud of you. And remember, when you're in that hole, you've been planted, you haven't been buried. They can't bury you, because we are you and you are us. And at the time I was like, because she's so insightful, and now as the oracle and growing into the spiritual beat, that makes perfect sense. At the time I was like, what the hell is this lady talking about? But she's like, they can't bury you, because you are us and we are you.
Yeah.
But she said, you're the key. Like, the DNA is broken and it's for you to unlock it and change it, because you're the first. She said, you're the first empowering woman of your bloodline. There's no one that's come before you that's first. So you're the last, but you're the first. So at this point, my daughter wasn't born yet and my granddaughter wasn't born yet. So I was the last female to be born in my family that had gone through this trauma. But it was for me to break the generational curse. And that's why, even though I was dealing with so much, I was still winning. I was still progressing. I was still, excuse me, throat chakra. Who doesn't want me to speak?
That's what I'm thinking.
There was so much happening in my bloodline that was on me to change, and I didn't realise that I'd left where I'd come from, watching the bloodlines and saying, you lot ain't learning nothing, let me come and sort this out. So
I think even with me, there was a lot that I needed to take off, from stuff, traumas that I used to go through. And like, people forget that even when you start going through like older age, there's certain things that you may be doing that is still due to what was attached to you.
Absolutely. And that's why when I say to people, like, they're talking to my ancestors, babes, it's not everybody's ancestors that's on stuff, because I know my mum's side, my ancestors on that side are not heavy hitters. They're docile and they were very oppressed women, which is why I am the fiery character. I'm the first empowered woman, because I'm meant to break the chain. My dad's side, toxic as hell. They're not heavy hitters because they're mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's toxic, he's manipulative, he's very, very spiteful, he's abusive. But if I call them and say, yo, this situation, them man are heavy hitters. They're crazy. But I'm saying, like, you have to be careful when interacting with your ancestors, because you have to judge the character of who they were when they were here.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, as you can imagine, I've been quiet. Just